you from 10 to 10:15 inside Good Evening Ghana, and Good Evening Ghana will continue after that all the way until 11 o'clock. That starts next week, Tuesday. So your complaints have been responded to positively. That's why Metro TV should be your channel of choice. Good Evening Ghana will continue on television and on social media all the way until 11 o'clock from next week, Tuesday. Okay. As part of that new look of Good Evening Ghana from Tuesday, we have designed a new Good Evening Ghana montage. We're going to show it to you. It's only 15 seconds long. From now on, that's the montage you will see to begin our show, and you will see part of the montage as what we call a breaker, to break in between videos and in between discussions and that kind of thing. It was beautifully designed by our graphic designer, Ransford. Here is the montage, 15 seconds. If you like it, applaud. We will not hear your applause, but we will feel it. So that's it. So now that's how you will see the beginning of the program. Good evening and welcome to this edition of Good Evening Ghana. We are moving into new epochs on this program. This 2021, isn't it? Okay. And we are trying to serve you better. Tonight we have, as usual, we have a great show. We will begin with what happened in Parliament earlier today. Martin Amidu has exited and Kisi Ajabin has joined. We have created a montage for it. And I'll be speaking in between the montage. We are thanking God that Martin Amidu has finally exited properly. He's always exited because he resigned. But we are thanking God that he's actually gone and that somebody has come in and, as it were, stepped in his shoes. You heard the conversation about step in the shoes at the vetting committee and what Kisi Ajabin said about it. And nonetheless, we are happy that Martin Amidu is gone. We'll tell you why we are happy that he's gone. And another lawyer has come in. Here's the montage that we have created for it. We are thanking God. The song says that we will thank God for this day. Why we are excited is that the lawyer who was told that you have conducted an investigation against a Ghanaian, you have made findings against this Ghanaian. It is very important that according to your work, you do these things. He made the findings and he sent the findings to the president. And then the president said, I've heard you, fair enough. Take the findings to the person, all the altarian partem, here the other side. It's a cardinal principle of law, all the altarian partem, here the other side. Many people have not looked at it that way, but this is the simplest way to look at it. It's a simple matter. A man conducts an investigation. He takes it to a president. President says, I've seen your report, but give it to the person. Go and apply the time-held principle of all the time partem, here the other side. It's a Latin maxim, all the time partem. It means here the other side. It's a cardinal principle of law. And it's a cardinal principle of criminal jurisprudence. Because it is in criminal jurisprudence that you seek to take away the liberties of people. So in doing so, you critically have to hear the other side. This advice, admonition, then triggers all sorts of things in November 2020, where the lawyer says that the president is the serpent of corruption, this and that and that. So we are celebrating tonight because he's gone. He's completely gone. We don't need him. We don't want that kind of attitude. We want another kind of attitude for the office of the special prosecutor. We need the office of the special prosecutor. We do. But we want a kind of attitude we don't want the megalomaniac type of attitude. I know all, I'm the only one, without me it won't work, I'm the only one who understands corruption. We don't need that attitude. So we are celebrating tonight because he's gone. But because really, how can you, I hope that law students will be studying his articles and will be debating it in their jurisprudence class, and they'll be asking themselves the fundamental question that, what was so wrong with that admonition? What was so wrong with saying that go and hear the other side? What is a big deal about that? What is very, very wrong with that? Nobody can understand what is wrong with that. Only Martin Amidu understood what is wrong with that. And then he continued to do his worst after all of that. So that's why we are celebrating tonight. Let's hear the song again. This is Yebeda Yehovah Yebebo Nidinda, because Martin Amidu is gone. Have a listen.
Yebeda Yehovah Yebebo Nidinda, Yebeda Yehovah Yebebo Nidinda.
Honestly, I was going to say no child. And I use adult children because I have no responsibility for these people as children. So as far as I'm concerned, they are not my children. If you go to the UK and tamper with anybody of this age, you go to jail.
I'm going to make corruption very costly, very, very costly to engage in. In terms of conflict of interest, I'm going to make corruption very costly, very, very costly to engage in terms of conflict of interest.
Crasher ni kongro. The crasher erade. Ma wo rem fina doye. Ono di amfusu ina chaye. No saya de.
Okay, I'm getting text message. I shouldn't say more about Dr. Martin Amidu. I shouldn't say more. I won't say more. All I'm saying is that we are delighted that he's gone and that another person has come. Kisi Ajaben had a very long vetting, enduring, and there were some sound bites that he got out of the appointment committee, or should I say that the appointment committee got out of him. We'll look at some of those sound bites on the touch screen. But tonight, we're going to also take you into the Police Service Regulations Act, CI 76, so that you understand what happens at the police service whilst we talk about celebrating Dampare. And we do also have a short documentary about old police. Let me welcome, though, to the program my interactive editors. Hello. Hi. Okay, so that's Matilda and Angelo. Okay, are the messages started? Have they started coming in thick and fast?
They are coming in very heavy.
Okay, are they concerned about the Martin Amidu montage?
They are.
They are. Okay, we'll come to you. We'll come to you in a bit for that. Tonight we might also be seeing Kwekwe Japan, who is a legal researcher. He might be joining the text message when the text message go onto the legal side. Let's go and see. Let's go to the touch screen and see Kisi Ajaben and the things that he said. He told Parliament, some of the things that we have isolated that you may have already seen on social media. Okay, so this one is the first one. He says that I can't stop corruption, but I'll make it costly. Now, I invite our viewers on social media to sort of talk about this. Tell us what you think. The special prosecutor says he cannot stop corruption. That's what he said. So he can't stop corruption, but he'll make it costly. Some people disagree with him. Some people agree with him. Send us a text message. We'll read it. Let's know what you think about this aspect of the special, the nominated special prosecutor. He's still waiting for Parliament to confirm him. So that's how we'll call him. He says, I'm not naive to assume that I'm coming to stop corruption. There's no way I can stop corruption. But he doesn't end there. He says more. He says, God himself will not acclaim to do to that. But I am going to make corruption very costly to engage in. That's what Kisi Ajaben says. Says he's going to make corruption costly to engage in. He's not going to be able to stop it, but he's going to make it costly to engage in. I'm sure this can trigger a lot of conversation on social media. Special prosecutor says that if you are corrupt, be careful. You can go on with your corruption, but I'm going to make you pay for it. I'm going to make it very, very costly for you to do corruption. Costly means that you go to prison. Costly means that you pay a heavy fine. Costly means that you lose something. Costly means that you lose the property that you acquire out of corruption. I don't know what costly means, but it could mean all of those things. That's what the special prosecutor said. Let's move on. He said there was a reference to filling the heavy shoes. Okay, so this was a question. I think this was the most important soundbite. This is the one that caught the attention of everyone. There was a question about filling the shoes of Martin Amidu. I believe that he was expecting that question before he went in. And he answers this way. He says there was a reference to filling the heavy shoes of a named individual, Martin Amidu. But I will prefer to wear my own shoes, in the sense that I'm my own man and I'm coming with my own experiences and professional training. Okay, so he says there was a reference to filling the heavy shoes of a named individual, Martin Amidu. But I will prefer to wear my own shoes, in the sense that I am my own man and I am coming with my own experiences and professional training. He goes on to say that in this quest, my conscience and the learning of the law are going to be my guide. So he's already told us his template and the model that he's going to apply. First is conscience, which we cannot see, and it's important that public office holders work according to their conscience. So he's going to work with his conscience and his understanding of the law, his learning of the law. Those are the things that are going to guide him. He says also that in terms of the relevance of the office, now a question was asked whether or not the special prosecutor's office is relevant at all, and many people have asked that question. Those lawyers and students of law who have studied Article 88 of the Constitution have sort of said that inside Article 88 is embedded the role of any other person to be called a special prosecutor, because the Attorney General can offer a warrant to other aspects of the society, police, etc., to prosecute. Indeed, the Attorney General can offer a warrant to a private barrister to prosecute. Some scholars, legal scholars, believe that in that Article 88 is embedded the role of another prosecutor other than the Attorney General, and you can call him anything, and it's better to leave it that way so that the Attorney General can decide which lawyers are going to be called upon to make which prosecutions rather than have a special office. So that debate is ongoing, and Kissi Agyabins answers the question and says that in terms of the relevance of this office, that is the office of the special prosecutor, the day we scrap this office is the day we say goodbye to our fight against corruption. Now, that's a very controversial statement, and so he's indicating that on the side of the debate, he is firmly for the creation of a special office called the Office of the Special Prosecutor, whilst the Attorney General maintains the powers in Article 88 to call upon any other person to prosecute a particular case. Kissi Agyabins continues and says its relevance is born out of its attributes and uniqueness. So he talks about the uniqueness of the Attorney General's office, and one of the uniqueness, as opposed to what obtains in Article 88, which the Act of the Special Prosecutor gives him, is that he is able to initiate his own prosecution. Once he has been given the official title, there is a sort of blank check of a warrant from the Attorney General that the Special Prosecutor can go ahead and initiate any criminal proceedings, including against the Attorney General himself or herself. And I think that that's what Kissi Agyabins is referring to when he talks about the uniqueness of the Office of the Special Prosecutor. Okay, so these are the big hardcore points that Kissi Agyabins raised at the vetting today, for which we are excited that he comes in. Let's see the first part of our montage again, the first part of our montage on Martin Amidu's exit, Kissi Agyabins' entry. Here it is. Okay, so we move on to our next topic, and Honorable James Agalaga is in the studio. Let's take a photograph of James Agalaga and show him to the world. Our former Deputy Minister of Interior, Member of Parliament, is going to be on in a little bit. Okay, yeah, the camera is turning over to you, Honorable James Agalaga. So give us a wave. All right, that's James Agalaga. Okay, so we're going to show you this documentary that we showed in 2019. This is Ghana Police 1960. It's a 5-minute documentary. It was produced by the BBC's Channel 4 in 1960 for the consumption of, I believe, the international media. Here it is. 5 minutes later, we'll come back to the studio, talk about Dampare, and then we'll begin the discussion. Here it is. Okay. Sound. There's no sound coming.
Representatives of a force nearly 8,000 strong, charged with the maintenance of law and order throughout the Republic of Ghana.
Go ahead, Mike.
They have a heavy responsibility to bear. Yet
So when we come back,
and with goodwill towards their fellow men. They serve under the command of Commissioner E.R.T. Majite, and most of the officers and men have a long record of service stretching back to the days prior to independence. The modern policeman must know how to arrest a criminal who may have a gun. Perhaps he'll only have his own recourse and knowledge to help him, so unarmed combat is an important part of the training. Baton and shield drill for controlling mobs and breaking up riots is taught at Elmina. The part of the mob in this case is played by the police themselves with enormous enthusiasm, as you can see. Training of this sort is rarely, if ever, put into practice, but all the same, the policeman must know the right methods. First aid is also important. The policeman is often the first one on the scene after an accident, and he must know what to do until medical assistance can arrive. Everybody makes mistakes. The helping hand, the happy smile and his air of authority are the Ghana policeman's stock in trade. The streets and patrol areas are all detailed on maps in the information room at Central Barracks, the nerve center of the city's police. All night and every night, while you and I are sleeping, they maintain constant vigilance, guarding person and property alike. They check the doors and locks of shops and houses. They make sure, too, that private watchmen are doing the work they are paid to do. In another part of the town, Amidu, a good citizen, cannot sleep. The night is hot. A breath of air perhaps will help. He looks around. What goes on at this late hour? Yes, it is a thief. He knows the blue phone boxes are there for just such an occasion as this.
Is that the police? A man breaking into a shop into the road near the People's Bar.
Amidu's prompt action brings the night duty men to immediate alertness. The call goes out to all cars in the area. The net is closing.
Control calling Abo 3, over.
Abo 3 answering control. Okay, over.
Proceed to Tudu Road near People's Bar. Attempted shop breaking reported, over.
Abo 3 control. One go out.
But will the police prevent the crime and make an arrest? On ceremonial occasions, it is the envied duty of the mounted police squadron to provide an escort for the President of the Republic and for visiting dignitaries. The force, in all its branches, is a body of men and women dedicated to the service of our country. These men and women are keen and willing servants of the public, of yours and of mine, and they are all proud to be members of the Ghana Police.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You have just seen a film illustrating the various aspects of police work and the many difficulties that confront a police officer in the execution of his official duties. Most people, of course, think of the police service as an organization for dealing solely with crime, but you've just seen now that a police officer does far more than just this. The police service exists for the benefit of the public. It is your police service. But however scientifically developed the service may be, whatever advanced training we may give our men, and whatever modern equipment we may possess, we cannot function efficiently and effectively without your cooperation. We ask for it, and we very sincerely hope that you always give it, remembering that the lawbreaker is not only a menace to the victim of his crime, but also to the whole community. Our object is to ensure that all law-abiding citizens move about freely and set about their duties without let or hindrance. One thing I ask for, and that is your cooperation at all times. You will give it to us, won't you? I know the answer is yes. Thank you.
Okay, so that's an old film. If you want to watch all of it, call me. I'll give you the whole video. I have it. You know, we have a lot of archives here on Good Evening Ghana. So that's Dampare, who we are talking about tonight. Then we know that the president came to a decision, not easily. He had to look at other people and make a comparison, strike a balance, and then decide that he wanted Dampare to become. Who are the other people who could have been, just for academic analysis, who are the other people who could have been IGP if the nod did not go to Dampare? Dampare is here. Congratulations to him, Dr. G. Ekufu Dampare. We already have seen his CV, etc., etc. But these are the other people. COP Kofi Boakye could have been, just for academic purposes, he must have been on the final list, I believe, and he must have been considered, and eventually he didn't get the nod, and Dampare got the nod. For one reason or the other, that's why there's an executive president elected, and he exercises authority under Article 57 and 58 of the Constitution to appoint people in various places. So congratulations to Dampare. But Kofi Boakye could have been. Who else could have been? It could have been Christian Tete Yohonu. Yohonu could also have been. He's also a top police officer. He could have been. And then there is also COP Akuriba Yaji. He could also have been IGP. And then there is also COP George Alex Mensah, who could also have been IGP. All of them were in the mix. There is Mami Tiwa Adodankwa, who is also a COP. She could also have been, she's director in charge of welfare. She used to be at the CID. And this is the list of the Elite Six group who we believe were considered by the president and his advisors. And eventually the nod fell on Ekufu Dampare to become. Tonight, just before we go to Dr. Eni, we want to show you something in the police regulations, CI 76, about the Ghana Police Service. They'll put that on in a minute. I'll show you briefly before we go to Dr. Enin, who is already on live on our Zoom chat. Maybe we can see him, we can see Dr. Enin, and then take his permission to show the viewers the police regulation. Yes, that's Dr. Enin. Hello, Dr. Enin.
Well, Professor Enin now, Paul. I mean,
oh,
I think I work hard now. Yeah.
Professor Enin, congratulations. Congratulations, Professor Enin.
Yes, thank you very much.
So we're going to have a chat with you, and Honorable James Agalga is in the studio.
Excellent.
Okay, I just want to run through the Police Regulations Act, CI 76, if you don't mind.
Mm-hmm. No, please do.
Okay, so let's do that. Let's do that. Let's the viewers see. Let's do that. So this is the Police Regulations Act, CI 76. Can you straighten the TV a bit? Can you straighten? Okay, so Police Regulations 2012, CI 76. This is a structure of the service, directors, directorate, departments, and units of the service. The service shall have the directorate, department, and units as specified in the first schedule. We'll look at it. The directorates of the service are administration. So this is how the Ghana Police Service is organized, and this law was passed in 2012. It's called CI 76. The Ghana Police Service is organized in this way. And I'm guessing that people like Dr. Enin may have advised on this particular bill. Okay, the directorates include the administration, police administration, A. Then there's the criminal investigations department. There's human resource and development department. There's legal and prosecution department. There's operations department. That's why we have a director of operations. We have a director of legal and prosecution. There's a technical department. And there's general services. Okay, let's run through quickly. There's welfare as well. That's where Mami TY is. There's research and planning. All that are directorates of the police. There is finance, and Dampare has been there before. And there's police intelligence and professional standards. This is the first time I saw this when I looked at the law today. I didn't know it was. I'm guessing that it may have been added then. As you know, James Agalga was deputy minister around the time that this law was passed. So police intelligence and professional standards, that's also part of the department. And then the Department of Services are the Criminal Investigation Department is a service the police renders, the Audit Service, Works and Housing Services for the policemen, Information Communication Technology is also another service they render. And then the administration of the service, the head of the service. The Inspector General of Police is the head of the service and subject to the provisions of Article 202 of the Constitution and the control and direction of the Council. Okay, he is responsible for the operational control and administration of the service. So subject to the council's direction, the IGP is entirely responsible for the police. That's what the IGP is. Very powerful person. Now, in accordance with Article 202, Clause 3 of the 1992 Constitution, the power to appoint a person to hold or act in an office in the service shall vest in the President, acting in accordance with the advice of the council. So the President appoints senior police officers, Inspector General of Police. He is the senior most police officer, the Inspector General of Police. The next one is the Deputy Inspector General of Police. So there's always going to be a deputy, and that deputy is appointed by the IGP, Deputy Inspector General of Police. Then there is a Commissioner of Police, that's COP, Commissioners of Police by rank. And then there is Deputy Commissioner of Police, that's DCOP. These are the ranks of the police, the senior police officers. It starts from the IGP, Commissioner of Police, Deputy Commissioner of Police, and then there is Assistant Commissioner of Police, that's ACP. So we are taking the opportunity of the Dampare appointment to share with our viewers what the police are, who they are, and what their ranks are. CI 76, you can Google it and read it. Assistant Commissioner of Police is the next one, and then you have Chief Superintendent of Police. So after ACP, then there's Chief Supo. That's how they call it, Chief Supo. If you have not lived in a police barracks before, I'm sharing with you, Chief Supo. That's how they call it. Okay, so Chief Superintendent of Police. Then you have Superintendent of Police. That is Supo. That's how they call it. And then there is also Deputy Superintendent of Police. That's DSP. I'm sure you've heard DSP this, DSP that on the radio. DSP is a senior officer. He's a Deputy Superintendent of Police. Then there's also ASP. That's Assistant Superintendent of Police. So you hear ASP, Mr. That, DSP, Mr. That. That's what it means, Assistant Superintendent of Police. And then there is junior officers. The highest ranking junior officer, like what the military have, the warrant officer is the highest ranking junior officer. The highest ranking junior officer in the police service is the Chief Inspector. You usually find them in the charge office, around the police station, around the Criminal Investigation Department, Chief Inspector. They are the highest ranking of the junior officers. Then there is an inspector. Then after inspector, there is regional sergeant major. The regional sergeant major is the next one. And then there is district sergeant major. That's the next one. And then there is sergeant. And then there is corporal. You know the corporal is the guy with the two V's. And then there is a lance corporal, the one with the one V. And then there is a constable who is the new police officer. In England, they call their IGP the chief constable. So the constable is the lowest ranking police officer, the one who has just come from recruit training. Now the story about Dampare is that he came from constable. He began his police career as a constable. So it's a great story that in 30 years or so from constable, he has risen all the way to become a COP and to become an Inspector General of Police. That's the great story about Dampare. Let's move on. This is about disciplinary matters, discipline and authority. Okay, so enough said. We will now go and take our live conversation with Dr. Enin, and then we will take our panel discussion with the Honorable James Agalga. And then you can see I'm packing my things to move to the other desk. And then let me take these two as well. And then we will take our live chats, the interactive session with our people. So join me at the other side. Good evening, Honorable James Agalga. Good evening, Paul. It's fantastic to be with you.
Paul, nice to be with you again.
You have not been in this studio before, have you?
Yes, this is my first time.
Okay, so can you put Dr. Enin on? Let's start, and then we can ask him some questions. Yes, Dr. Enin is back on. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Paul.
Okay, so yesterday I heard you speak on Joy, and you were very excited about the choice of Dr. Dampare as the IGP. 24 hours later, are you still excited, or the excitement has become better?
Excitement has become better, and I think I'm looking forward, together with Honorable Agalga, Norman, Adib Sani, and my friends on the chattering side, to become a sparring partner to Dr. Dampare, raising with him the concerns that we've raised over time about an effective, responsive, collaborative, and dialogic Ghana Police Service. The police service as we have it now needs an officer who is from the operations side, but also has the intellectual capacity to cut through the fluff that has enveloped the service and destroyed its institutional ethos. Dampari's appointment is exciting also because His Excellency the President has broken a mold of appointing retirees into this position in a manner that stifles meritocracy and the dreams of those who seek to work professionally and get to the top. Dr. Dampari can be successful and will be successful because you have Dr. Agalga in your studio today. Agalga sits on the Parliamentary Committee on Defense and Interior that serves as an oversight institution in relation to the Ghana Police Service. Honorable Agalga and his colleagues on that committee, and last night I had the deputy chair of the committee, Honorable Hayford, in the studio together with me. That committee, together with the Police Council, must play a role in ensuring that the targets that are set for the Ghana Police Service, and particularly for the IGP,
Hello? Have we lost Dr. Enin? Okay, I think we have. I'll go back. I was going to ask him, though, that he mentioned a set of names, Agaga and others. He didn't mention the chairman of the committee, Honorable Kennedy Japan, and some people have been concerned about the role of Honorable Kennedy Japan as a chairman. I was going to ask him whether he has any concerns about that as well. But welcome, Honorable, to the studio.
Thank you, Paul.
Okay, so you were deputy minister when the police regulations were made, was it?
Absolutely.
Okay, it looks like good work. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Do you have interaction with Dr. Dampari?
Yes, Paul, I have known Dr. Dampari since the time I was appointed as Deputy Minister of the Interior. I had a very close working relationship with him. An excellent officer by all standards. At the time when we started interacting very closely, he was Assistant Commissioner of Police, and subsequently he was promoted to Deputy Commissioner of Police. And then sometime in 2014, he was elevated to the enviable rank of Commissioner of Police. Dr. Enin made a point which is very profound so far as our quest to have a modern police service is concerned. I mean, we had cause to complain about the continuous appointment of retiree officers to serve in the capacity of Inspector General of Police. And I have had occasion to decry, I mean, that phenomenon and to state very clearly that the situation whereby retiree officers are appointed to serve as Inspector General of Police actually demoralizes the rank and file of the police service.
Have we had many retirees being appointed by the various presidents as
not just the position of Inspector General of Police, even at the level of commissioners and deputy commissioners. We've had instances where retiree officers have been appointed.
Retiree means somebody who's over the age of 60.
Absolutely. But Paul, you see, constitutionally it is permissible to do so. But the trend within the police service became so abusive that because under Article 1994, the appointing authority can actually extend the service period of a public office holder who has attained the age of 60 years if the exigencies of the service will require that that person be granted an extension. But over time we saw that what was supposed to be an exception under Article 199 rather became the norm. And so most of the officers who were supposed to retire continued to remain in the service. That had some demoralizing, effect on officers who had not attained the age of 60, because it made it difficult, if not impossible, for them to rise up the ladder, in a natural way. So somehow it impacted adversely on performance. Morale was very low at that point. So we started agitating, especially at the level of the committee, even at the appointments committee, when the current Minister for the Interior appeared before Parliament for vetting. We raised that issue very forcefully. And he gave us a firm undertaking that he was going to look into the issue of the award of contracts, so to speak, to retiree officers.
Okay.
And I think that the appointment of Dr. Dampari, for me, is refreshing, because he's not a retiree officer.
He's 51.
If you look at his age.
But what about the fact that there are other people who are older than him, who are not retirees yet, but are 55, 40, 54, 56, who have, for want of a better word, bypassed? Well, even though on the seniority of who first became COP, Dampari became COP before.
Yes, absolutely.
All those in the top hierarchy.
Yes, so presently he is number 2.
Yeah, he's number 2 now, yes.
After the IGP is number 2.
He's number 2, yes.
So what it simply means is that the appointing authority
so that meritocracy has been obeyed.
Well, I should say so.
Okay.
And seniority, for that matter.
Seniority as far as, not age seniority, but...
Yes, seniority in the service.
Rank seniority.
Yes, that has been respected. For me, that is a good starting point. But Paul, having said that, Dr. Dampari knows very well that, look, to succeed as an Inspector General of Police, because this is a service which is heavily decentralized. So you have the regional commanders, you have the directorates. When you, a while ago, displayed on your screen, CI 76, it was very clear. You have the directorates, you have the units, etc. Then you have the regions. We have 17 regions now, police regions.
16 or 17? 17. Tema is a region?
Yes, so plus the, so traditionally we used to have 11.
I see.
The traditional regions plus Tema.
Because Tema becomes a region.
Yes.
So there's a Tema regional commander.
That's right.
And there's a Greater Accra regional commander.
That's right. Okay. So Tema was a region. And so when talking about police regions, Greater Accra alone accounted for 2 regions. Now if you add the newly created regions, you have 17. You have 17.
So you're going to have 17 regional commanders?
Yes.
Okay.
We do have 17. So this is a service that is heavily decentralized. And so for an IGP to succeed, he needs to get all the commanders at the regional level, at the levels of the directorates, and at the district levels to buy into a certain vision that he believes and espouses. He cannot do the job alone. And I believe Dr. Dampari understands that too well.
You seem to be sending us an ominous sign that may be difficult to get.
No, well, of course.
What is coming from you,
that is the challenge of leadership.
We take it very seriously because you have been at the Ministry of Interior. Is it going to be difficult?
Well, I don't think it should be difficult. Dr. Dampari is up to the task, but it's up to him to get all the commanders, the heads of the directorates, the commissioners of police to buy into his vision and move along with them.
Would he need a new vision? Are you saying we have to buy into his vision because of the current state of affairs of the police, that you think is in a state that it requires a new vision? Otherwise, he can just continue what his predecessor was doing.
Yes, you see, Paul, the principal mandate of the police is to ensure that there is law and order in our country. But in recent times, I mean, there is no question about the fact that incidents of armed robbery is on the ascendancy. I mean, starting from 2017, 2018, 2019, up to 2021, statistics from the police service itself would show that armed robbery is a major issue that we have to deal with as a country. Now, all along, COP Dr. Dampari has been an integral part of the police administration. He was director for operations. Director General responsible for operations. At the moment, he's Director General responsible for administration. And so he's been with the system all along. Now he's been made Inspector General. How do we deal with the growing incidents of armed robbery, bullion van attacks, highway robberies? How do we deal with that? He needs the support of the commissioners who may have competed with him to become IGP but lost out to him. He needs to get the regional commanders to buy into a certain vision. If he's unable to do so, I am sorry, it's going to be the same old story. So it is expected that as Inspector General of Police, he would espouse a certain vision and get the rest of his officers and men and women to implement the vision. What should he do
with the people that he competed with, who are COPs? What should he do with them?
So at the level of the Police Management Board, I expect him to build a team. It takes teamwork to succeed. So rather than see them as people he once competed with, it is important for him to understand that in order to succeed, he needs their support. So the leadership style that he is going to exhibit henceforth is going to contribute largely to his success or failure. He needs the support of, for instance, the Director General responsible for operations, the Director General responsible for, now there is a whole directorate responsible for police intelligence. Remember that after the decoupling of what used to be known as special branch, intelligence became an issue for the police service. So the police at some point came to the realization that there was the need for them to, if you like, bring into existence an intelligence unit. That unit has now been elevated.
Okay, let me take a commercial break. Ejimi should take one. I'll come back. It's a very important question I want to ask you about an appointment of an IGP during your time. We'll be right back after the break. This is Good Evening Ghana and it's live.
Every human body mass should have at least 60% water for optimal performance in any physical or mental exercise. We can help you maintain it naturally. X Natural Mineral Water. Simply natural.
Logo the bottom. Where you say 80 local channels na mo hwedo. And so pictures near clear. E 5 times better. As in other channels go be show ho. So go dey mention mo ntram ra kan why. Oh, what the pictures.
Who knows tomorrow?
What the picture. What do AD plus decoder or multi TV and now Electroland agent Pia natural local channels now HD the here so better
star 879 hash
numbers from Kubu box and now the advert AD channels now.
Get an HD Plus decoder from now till the 9th of August for just $89.99 Ghana cedis and enjoy 3 months free subscription. Enjoy all the excitement and live sports action in the HD Plus Air Bosso Philippines promo lasts from 7th June to 9th August 2021. Visit hd-plus.com.gh or call 024-243-9872 for more info.
Half a nose for good things.
perfectly fine.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
The right insurance means that you can get the medical help you need whenever you need it.
You're okay?
No, I doubt.
With Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, you can get up to 80 Ghana cedis worth of insurance per night for up to 40 nights with just a premium of 5 Ghana cedis. All you have to do is dial *110# to access your Vodafone Cash menu, select financial services and follow the prompts to pay for your insurance wherever, whenever. Simple as that. Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, your medical care, our concern.
Okay, welcome back. Sorry, we had a small technical issue. Now, Facebook is back on. We had a disconnection of power. And Dr. Enin is also back on. Can we see Dr. Enin, please? And Professor Enin, I've just seen on Facebook people. Professor Enin, your background has become very dark. What's happening?
Well, I'm sitting in darkness, Paul.
You have light off in your house?
I'm not in Ghana. Wherever I am, there's light off. But I think this conversation is so important that at least people can see my glasses, and hopefully my teeth are so wide that they can see the darkness. I think if they can hear my voice, then I will contribute.
Yeah, we can hear you. Did you hear Honorable James Agaga?
Yes, I did.
Okay, I want him to finish his point on Dampare needing the support of everyone. Then I'll come to you to comment on that.
Yes, please.
Okay, so Honorable, so let land on that point that you were expressing concern that he will need everyone's support, and you sounded skeptical a little bit.
Well, I'm not skeptical here, but for knowing what the police service is at the top level, you have people with different philosophical orientation with respect to policing and what the objects, ought to be. So everybody comes with his own vision. Now, Dr. Dampare has emerged as Inspector General of Police. It's quite natural that there would be some elements within the service who may disagree with him with respect to how a certain policy objectives ought to be implemented. And so for him to get everybody moving along, it's up to him to build a team. So I wouldn't be surprised if we hear him do some reshuffles immediately, the moment the baton of office is passed on to him. That would be because he would probably be thinking that Mr. A, Commissioner A, if it's reshuffled to say operations, another sent to finance and administration, and another sent to welfare, he'd be able to implement his objectives in a more successful way. So that is the point I was trying to
will there be suspicion?
Drive at.
Will there be suspicion among the top hierarchy? I'll come back to you on that. Given your role as a former Minister for the Interior, do you think there could be suspicion? Let me take Dr. Enin now on the Zoom call. Hello, Doc. We are back with you now. Dr. Enin, tell us. Honorable Agaga says that the Dampare appointment is a full throttle on meritocracy, which you have been talking about for a very long time. Do you agree that eventually meritocracy has come to the police hierarchy appointments?
Well, Paul, it's come now. And I think we need to ask ourselves why and how. My argument is that Dr. Dampare's appointment, let's not forget, I think he's been jumped over twice, because two people who are past the retirement age, I think Asante at the two, and then Opombuenu had both passed retirement age, and then we're giving these extensions. So Dr. Dampare has been passed over twice. Now, those who suggested him, and particularly those who made this choice, had to make a choice between a rock and a hard place. And I think Honorable Agalga's analysis about the levels of insecurity are spot on. I am sure what led to this choice was that we need someone who has a hands-on operational experience, but who also has not passed retirement age. Because every time someone who had passed retirement age was brought back, that led to difficulties within the service. I mean, officers got disappointed, there was passivity, there wasn't that enthusiasm to help the IGP. So the choice of Dampare is also a desperate response from those in authority to say, look, we don't have more than a year max before the whole police infrastructure falls apart. So they have to make this decision. Now, Honorable Agalga's point about the need for rapid shifts is key. For everyone joins an institution or an organization with an aspiration to get to the top. Now, because Ekufu Dampare has been appointed with about 5 or 6 years prior to his retirement, it will be fairly easy for him to appeal to the senior commissioners to come around him. And all those names that you mentioned, Tiwa, Yohonu, Kofi Mwache, Dr. Garba, are all key players who would need to help Dr. Dampare to be successful. But equally importantly, Paul, is to go back to CI 76 and to say, how do we restructure the service in such a manner that the almost mafia style, excessive stay in one position or in a district, in a command, is restructured in such a manner that we bring new ideas, new vision, and new drive. Dampare's strength is about his strategic vision and his empathy for his personnel, but also a willingness when the operational plans have been drawn up. And that is why getting Yohonu and Kofi Mwache on his side are key. These are operational people. Commander 1, as Kofi Mwache is known, and in the Ashanti region, is very sorely missed consistently. To come together to say, how do we plan a national strategy to respond in a more proactive way to deal with the armed robberies that Honorable Agalga is talking about? Police intelligence is almost non-existent. It's weak, it's ineffective, the analyses are wrong, and most of the conclusions are utterly bogus. And I'm going to give you 2 key examples, Paul. One relates to the murder of the police officer who was in the bullion van. And the police administration coming out in public to tell the world, oh, somebody has his own private CCTV cameras, but he's refusing to hand over the film to the police. Now, what are the rules around having CCTV cameras? And what does he owe the police? Now, by outing this individual as having possibly filmed the crime, the police service has unwittingly put this guy, his family, and his business in danger. We cannot have that kind of poor police intelligence and analysis. Ejura epitomizes the lack of sensitivity and analytical skill of police intelligence, but also the National Intelligence Bureau officers who were on the ground. And herein comes our earlier conversation about the applicable usefulness, the empirical usefulness of a national security strategy document in which those who need to implement it themselves don't know about the existence of the document and then the inherent norms and values inside that document. So this is a work in progress. And as I've said, Norman, Adam Bona, Adib Stani, Akanda, and quite a number of us are willing to say, look, we have a little bit of knowledge about this. Can we create a space within which, with Honorable Agalga and some of the others, Peter Tobu and co, bring our knowledge onto the table? Because this is a national crisis. And this is possibly one of the last IGPs we have that we need to come around him to recreate a sense of order, a sense of vision, and a directed approach to ensuring that we can create a secure environment. But once more, Paul, let me end this by sharing a little advice that I have with Dr. Akufo-Addo. You know, when you lead, he should lead in such a manner that by the time he says goodbye, he would have left us a police service that is effective, that is responsive to people's needs and community needs, that is empathetic, and that has a duty of care. So that when he doesn't have his bodyguards and his armored vehicle, he will feel secure enough to take a walk in the night, in the morning, knowing that he's left behind
and all the things you are saying. Kennedy Japan is chairman of the committee. What do you have to say about that? Some people don't like it.
I think the committee goes beyond an individual. But the committee's functions primarily as an oversight committee must ensure that it becomes a critical sparring partner both to the police administration and to the police council. The police council and the police administration, and I'm here, happy Honorable Agalga is here, have both failed the institution, the Ghana Police Service, and also the people of Ghana, because their functions and their roles have been limited for the police council to being a promotions and a dismissals council, and for the defense and interior committee of being a committee that hardly demands any accountability from the police service, does not challenge the police service, does not request for documents, and if you read the Hansard, hardly ever discusses the quality of policing. But Honorable Agalga has also told us that the expanse of the responsibility is so huge that probably the time has come to have subcommittees of the Defense and Intelligence Committee. Probably all focusing on the Armed Forces, the Navy, the Air Force, and then looking at a subcommittee for external intelligence, a subcommittee for the norms inherent in this national strategic document. So I think in the First Republic, both the Council and the Interior and Defense Committee have both failed the people of this country, and they have also failed the Ghana Police Service in becoming a credible sparring partner in delivering that protection of property and lives that are inherent in Act 350. So there's a lot of work that we need to do, but let's try and do it in a spirit of partnership, of collaboration, and of trust. Now, an effective Ghana Police Service creates an enabling environment within which we can go about our businesses peacefully, but also that the economy can then grow. So we have a lot of work to do, Paul.
Okay, thank you very much. When am I getting an invite to your inaugural lecture?
The inaugural lecture is all set and ready to go, and I can assure you it will really rock the star. That I can assure you.
When is it happening and where?
Well, I think it will happen at GIMPA or at the Kofi Center. I'm not involved in the nitty-gritties of it, but I can assure you the paper is done, and it will rock the town by the time I finish speaking.
How do we know and attend?
That I can show you. Oh, it's open to the public. Why not? It's open to the public.
Do you have a date?
No, I'm not part of the nitty-gritties. My role is to walk up there when I'm given a date and shoot from the hip.
Okay, we'll be monitoring that.
I'll be having these conversations for ages.
Absolutely, we'll be there. We'll be there all the way from ASDR back in the day. Congratulations, Dr. Enin. Congrats.
Yes. Thank you very much.
That was Dr. Emmanuel Enin. He says that your committee has not been very effective.
Well, Paul, Professor Enin is always a delight to watch and listen to. He taught me at the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center.
Oh, you got a master's in security?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, congrats,
and he
congrats.
was my professor. And so when he says the committee to which I'm ranking hasn't been very effective, I mean, in the Fourth Republic, I think that has been spot on. Even though we have made some strides in recent times in our bid to assert our authority and to discharge our oversight mandate over the security sector. First of all, Prof clearly alluded to one of the challenges, which is that the Committee for Defense and Interior is expected to exercise oversight over a very broad area. So you have now a whole ministry responsible for intelligence, national security. It's there. You have defense, armed forces. You have interior. Interior alone has so many agencies under its watch. And so for you to be able to perform effective oversight, one and the same committee, it's a big joke. So in other jurisdictions, you have, for instance, the Armed Services Committee, which deals exclusively with, say, the army.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'll be coming to you shortly, so get ready.
All right. You have a committee dedicated for intelligence, the Intelligence Committee, I mean, in the US, in Nigeria, next door Nigeria. But here we have lumped everything together, one in the same committee. Expertise is another matter. And so for me, for somebody like me, I was constrained at some point to go back to school.
Yes. Okay.
Because I realized that I wasn't equipped at all to do this job. So I had to go back to school and learn under the feet of the likes of Professor Enin and co. Just to equip myself. Ordinarily, Parliament should be responsible for that, for our training. But when that wasn't forthcoming, I had to take the initiative and to try to equip myself, properly, to be able to do the work I'm doing now. So he's right. But over time, we have been assertive. For instance, in times past, national security, the Ministry of National Security, wasn't even accountable to Parliament.
But now they are.
And now they are. We have to compel them, even though in law they were required to do so, submit annual reports. They were feet dragging.
Okay.
Even after.
Let me take 1 minute to listen to the text messages before we go off TV and continue on social media. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, if you're ready, let me start with you. Ladies first. Matilda, what do you have?
Okay, so Kwesi Ewanyako says, I believe we should focus on the substance of what is being said rather than talking of the location. This is because a lot of the people were commenting about the background of Prof. Enin's video. So I totally agree with him on that.
The background, why were they worried about the background?
You were talking about his curtains, his wardrobe.
I see. Okay, move on. What else do we have?
Yes, we have, go on.
Okay. Moses Olacho or Sinato says, let's leave.
Oh, Dr. Enin is still on.
Oh, it's still on.
Okay, Doc, maybe we can take it straight to you then. Doc, apparently people are worried about your curtains.
Yes, I'm on field work. And when you are doing field work, I'm trying to get to grips with how we can help get fishermen to help us with first-hand intelligence about maritime crimes. And I'm trying to build a maritime security culture across the Gulf of Guinea coast. So when you do this kind of hands-on field work, you stay with the people that you are trying to interview. You've got to show them that you respect their livelihoods. So yes, my curtain must certainly doesn't look well class, but it certainly helps me to get a job.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Doc. Okay, let's get back to you. Okay. Angela, what do you, Matilda, back to what do you have?
So Felicia Brobedakwa says, I pray in the next couple of years, Ghana will have a female IGP. So she started this thread and someone responded that being capable, that's Joey Apia Darlington. He said, being capable should be considered rather than gender. It defeats the whole motive of service. And then someone also came and said that...
mention their names. What are their names?
Okay, so...
Okay, you can't find it, you can go on, but it's good to get it.
Yes, Nana Kondia Obeng then came and said it has happened before. Her name is Elizabeth Mills and she was chosen under Prof. Mills' administration.
Yes, for acting position, that's correct.
Yes. So go.
Moses Ostinato says, let's leave politics here and learn from what Prof is saying. Richilati says, they praise the new ones and then crucify them while in power as an IGP. Kwame Boateng says, forget about this issue. You will be surprised to see the guy being worse than the outgoing IGP. And Joey Apia Darlington says, Paul, the IGP and Deputy IGP are appointments and not ranks. Their actual ranks are Commissioner of Police or COP. If you have noticed, the other commissioners of police have appointments as directors of the other directorates of the Ghana Police. That's Joey's view. Ernest says he seems to be in a hotel room or something, talking about our professor.
Speak louder, Angela, we can't hear you.
Right, okay. Michael Gakuma says, hey, Prof, I like your standing fan.
He likes a standing fan?
Yeah, the fan.
Oh, I see.
Aja Kawodi says, Paul, how can one stop corruption? Professor.
That's Dr. Elin is back on there.
Yeah.
Doc, you have your environment is the toast of our young people on social media.
Yeah, someone said I like his curtains.
Wow.
Certainly. But Paul, I think I'm happy they are commenting on the background because they think probably with my status I ought to have had a different background. But as I'm saying, I am working with people whose standard of living, their livelihoods allows them to provide what you can see behind me. But those people's contributions to developing a maritime security culture are critical to ensuring that enabling environment that we can all use to boost the economy. So for me, I am willing and prepared to have some discomfort so I can have the information that I need and to be able to do the analysis.
Okay.
But certainly when they come into my territory in the arena, I can assure you, a thought of that malt whiskey certainly will be more than what they are earning in 1 month. That I can assure you.
Thank you, Doc. Thank you, Doc. Any more messages before I switch off?
Sure. Ejak Cody says, Paul, how can one stop corruption? If I'm doing something in my office, how can he know? So it's after the act that he can punish to serve as deterrent to others. He's very right.
Okay. Odro says, do Ghanaians need any political tag for the IGP too? Whether he was an aide in the aide camp of the NDC's President Mills or not, an MPP president has appointed him based on competence. If all Black Star players are from Heart or Kotoko, what you need is a trophy. So let the tribalists and political vampires give Ghana peace.
Okay, on that note, let me announce to our viewers that, and this is the last time I'm going to do that, thankfully, we won't do that again. We're going off Metro TV, we continue on social media, but this is the last time we're going to do that. From Tuesday, our program runs on Metro TV until 11 o'clock in the evening. So, Metro TV, good night, social media continue. Metro TV, sorry, Tuesday will be on all through. Okay, Honorable Agaga, during your...
Metro TV, insightful and inspiring moments.